So I've been playing Resident Evil 5 recently since it's RE5's 15th anniversary, and I realized something big. You see, RE5 is a game with a very strange look to it. Everything looks so washed out and dirty, and the game is known for having something called the P filter. This was very common for a lot of games to have this in the early 2010s, where it looks like the developers just slapped on a tainted yellow filter and called it a day. Now, with rumors of the RE5 remake being the next remake, it begs the question of whether or not Capcom will keep this same look for the remake. A lot of people love the look of RE5. It fits perfectly for a game about sick people and bioweapons. But what if I told you that you could go from this to this? What you are currently looking at is a tool that removes the yellow filter, and the comparison is a night and day difference. Some people might say that this more colorful look doesn't fit the game, but some parts of the game actually do look better with this tool enabled, and I'll show you. For example, most of the underground parts of RE5 do look better with this tool. This is not a fact, by the way. These are just my personal opinions. I want to hear yours down below. The problem is that the OG look of this game looks way too washed out, and I understand that it fits the feel of the game, but I just like this look a little bit more. Other areas of the game, however, don't get the same glow up. Sometimes the orange colors are really orange, and at times it does get a little distracting. Darker colors tend to suffer the most because when you take a darker color and ramp up the saturation, it becomes a little too much. I also experimented with the game's DLC, and surprisingly, I got some pretty interesting results. I tested the Lost in Nightmares DLC first, and while some parts do add a bit more coloring, other parts, like this hallway, suffer a bit. I don't know what it is, I just like the original look a little bit better, and I feel like this tool kind of takes away that unique look. The Desperate Escape DLC also had some interesting results. Again, some parts of this game are very washed out, but with this tool, the game actually has a bit of life added to it. The default RE5 filter is not bad at all. I think both filters have their pros and cons. I mean, think about it. The default RE5 look fits the game's atmosphere the most. That is how the game was intended to look, but it can look very washed out and depressing at times. On the other hand, the tool enabled adds a lot more color, and as I said, it does breathe a bit more life into the game, but it can also overdo the colors at times, making the game look like Fortnite's brother. I tweeted about this back in February, and a lot of people said that this tool does make the game look better, but others didn't like it so much. Those people expressed their opinions and mentioned how the game now looks too colorful and how the tool only makes the game look worse. I want to know if you guys agree or disagree. But wait, what's that? Did I forget to mention that this tool also has a ton of other features, like an FOV fix? If you go into the tool's text file, you can change the FOV of RE5. I went a little crazy and went a little overboard, but you can adjust the game's FOV to your liking. It's definitely weirder and does take some time getting used to, but I could tell that in some ways, this wider FOV does help a lot. You can see enemies if they're trying to sneak up behind you. You can also adjust the game's FPS cap, allowing you to play up to 120 FPS. Honestly, I couldn't really tell a huge difference from 60 FPS, but after experimenting, I could definitely tell that it was a bit smoother. You can even change the shadow quality in the game. By default, these are the values that the game offers. Check this out. Here's what the game looks like at the lowest possible shadow quality. You can see that the edges look very blurry and almost pixelated. And now here's what the game looks like when you max out the shadow quality. Sharper edges, smoother edges. I mean, it looks better all across the board. The tool also has some ultra wide and resolution fixes. So for those that play on ultra wide monitors, well, you can optimize the game to your liking. I think it's cool that these features all allow you to change up the game and give you a fresh experience. I've talked about an RE5 mod before that actually changes up the game entirely. It's easily one of the hardest and craziest RE mods I've ever played. I made a video on it if you guys want to check it out here. Beware though, because things get a little intense in that video.